It seemed like you thought that just in terms of presentation, that the defense did a better job with the opening statement than the prosecution. Is that how am I correct in that?
Yeah, I think initially when the defense started, I felt like they were going to come out strong because the prosecution just felt like it was just too much information too quick and kind of disjointed. Where it was like you're going to hear from Cassie and this person, and then they made some crazy claims about what happened to Cassie, with this escort that's now being reported in national
Wait a
headlines.
minute. What the hell is this story? Can you do a recap of this?
Well, the story just came out, it was like kind of like in the middle of the opening
Who
statement
is
where it was like
who's
no
claiming this?
preparation. The prosecution is claiming that, this is what you're going to hear. And then in the middle of the opening statement, to me, it felt like it was for shock value.
And they're
I wasn't
claiming that
prepared to hear
who
it.
tell
Th-
me, I'm sorry to make you say it, but
No,
what are
that's
the
okay.
specifics? What exactly is being alleged?
They're claiming that Sean Combs coerced Cassie into having a male escort urinate into her mouth, and that she felt like she was choking. And to me, it was like an attack on my ears. I mean, I'm not hearing it; I'm reading it, but I was like, "Why? Why are we? What is this
It's
like?"
okay. And when we say coerce, of course, you know that this is a potential pet peeve of mine, but I also don't want to let my irritation with, I think, the general overuse or misuse of that word these days. I don't want to let that get in the way, though, of actually, if there's abusive behavior here or criminal behavior, of recognizing that. So when we say coerce, were there specifics given as to what that means? Was it physical restraint? Was it threat of violence? What
it,
was it?
it it wasn't very clear because of course we're reading from inner city press and it's coming in as text,
Right.
and it was a little disjointed. I'm not sure. He's pretty good about writing it out because when he did write out the
Well, and the
defense.
prosecution might have left it intentionally vague, because this is the thing that
Yeah.
I want to be on the lookout for here. And unfortunately, I think this is something that slides by a number of people who are just casually listening to this. Well, I mean, we'll see. But the word coerce, we could be talking on the extreme end about physical violence, holding someone down or threatening them. But also, these days, the word is used also to describe things like emotional pressure. Like he said he would break up with me if I wouldn't do it. Or he was so much wealthier than I was. He had the financial purse strings, and so I felt like I had to. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the prosecution prior to that, so maybe let me add context. They're basically saying that she got in too deep. It started off as a
Mm,
loving relationship with him, and then it got to the point where she couldn't say no because of threat of violence or you
mm.
know all
A
that
threat of
stuff.
violence now, right? So that, if that can be, and this is what I've been saying all along now, if evidence can be provided of that, or that can be proven, whether we're talking about corroborating witness testimony or something in writing or text or whatever, that this man was threatening violence, then that is, the prosecution then is proving at least one part of its case, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, and so back to your original question with the defense, I felt like the defense started very like passively. I didn't feel like it was like an attack on the ears where it was like so much information you didn't even know what to think about it by the end with the prosecution. Whereas
Yeah.
they started off slow. She started off introducing him as Sean Combs. And I know you said you're going to be referring to him as Sean Combs and not Diddy. I thought it was really smart because that's the same thing that that the defense team said, that they said we
Oh.
will be referring to him as Sean Combs. And then she introduced herself. I'm Teeny Garagos. I'm honored to represent him. So I thought that like the setup was really good. I felt like the start of it was really good. But then as
Mm.
she keeps going, they tried this 8 mile, I say 8 mile Eminem method, where
Oh
it's
no.
kind of like
That doesn't
you're
sound
gonna
good.
say everything bad about yourself before they can.
Uh-huh.
And which is it's an approach, but she does go
Because
on to
they're trying to
say,
diffuse it. They're trying to
yeah,
diffuse,
we're
yeah.
gonna we're gonna be accountable for everything he did. He was a violent man. He was a jealous man. He has his flaws and all these things, and we want accountability for the woman who their approach to this is saying that this was something that was consensual until it wasn't, and then they left. And if if they were so scared of something happening to them, why was Cassie able to go on and have children with, get married and have children with
Mm,
her personal
mhm.
trainer, and there was no consequence to that. They also brought up the settlements, which was going to be, I already knew was going to be talked about, that um, Cassie, and I guess victim two was the Jane Doe victim, may have gotten some financial settlements, which to me is like, some people argue, well, why would they lie if they already got the money? Usually it's they're lying to get the money. So
Right.
to me, that's like a gray area. But I felt like by the end, I didn't really feel like either one was convincing. I mean, it's just opening statements, right? But
Right, right.
neither one of them, like one of them went too far in trying to say, this is what we're going to own up to, where it felt kind of disingenuous.
Mm,
And then the other one, the prosecution, in my opinion, it was like so forceful. I felt so icky after listening to it, and maybe that was what they were going for, like the shock
mm.
value. But it was just a little bit too much. It was a little bit too much for opening, I felt like.
That is an excellent analysis and really, I mean, really interesting. And I love how you have some specific critiques there, and I really appreciate that. And so thank you for that. Was there a witness today as well? Was there witness testimony?
Well, there was two witnesses that came up. Cassie will be witness number three tomorrow. We left off with the second witness. So the first witness was LAPD officer, current LAPD officer, who at the time was only a security guard at the hotel room where the video happened.
Okay.
And so one of the nuggets
And
that
we're
we wanted to
talking
share.
again, so people just remind people about the infamous hotel beating where Sean Combs was on camera beating and kicking his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, and she's the one who ended up suing him and initiating then the cascade of lawsuits and this investigation into Sean Combs. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and so he was the one of the nuggets that came out is that the video was deleted by the hotel. Diddy ended up paying, or allegedly paid them to delete the video, and the reason why we have video of it now is because this man who was on the stand today recorded from his phone the video. So there's a video of the video. Basically, he recorded it from his personal phone to show his wife, because he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And so that is where the video stems from. So the hotel video was, the original was deleted, so now we have this
Why did
copy,
they
I
delete
guess.
the original? What? Who
The
did?
original is allegedly deleted because Diddy offered them $100,000 in a paper bag to delete it.
Okay, so that was that. Okay, that's right. So that was that deal that he made with them, and they were supposed to, I guess, delete everything, but they hung on to the copy. Someone
Uh,
did, right?
yeah, I guess. I don't know if
Right.
anybody else in the hotel knew that he had that copy. And it'd be interesting to find out what. I mean, I felt like, the cross examination was really good on him, but I was interested in why he held on to the video for so long, and why it came out when it did,
Mm-hmm.
and who got a hold of it for him. Like, was it Cassie? Was Cassie still in contact with him? Did she ever
Mm-hmm.
have contact with him?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of questions for me
Yeah.
after his testimony. And
Did he?
then
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry. No, no, you go ahead.
And so a part of the cross examination was kind of asking him, because there was a report filed but no police called, like, why didn't you not call the police if you saw she was hurt? He did verify that it was in the process of there being a freak off, because there was a male in the room. And for those who like don't know, or the freak offs are what part of this, sex trafficking thing, where
New vocabulary here. New
yeah,
vocabulary of 2024, 2025.
he would set up these male escorts with the female victims of Cassie and the other woman, to do these, what he would
So
call
in the
freak offs.
porn, yeah, so in the porn world or the escort world, this is actually the term they like to use is a scene.
I didn't feel either way whether he helped the prosecution. I felt like he helped set up the prosecution stuff. But the cross examination, where he was asked valid questions like why was the police not called, why was the fact that Cassie wanted to leave not put in the report, all these
Mm.
things that he was mentioning now as he sat there, why were all these things not put in the report? And I thought that was compelling, and he said, I didn't feel like it was important. And his mic drop on the defense side was, oh, so now 9 years later you feel like it's important, like.
Oh,
And so that was the end of that one. And then the second one is the male escort. So it was one of the male escorts.
tell me about the male escort.
So he just sets it all up as, he owned a company, a male escort company, or managed it. And he was called to what he thought was going to be a bachelor party, and it ended up being, this, he's getting money to be doing these. And like you said, there's scenes, because he even says
Mm.
that Diddy wanted him to like pretend they met at an airport, and that him and Cassie couldn't do it, so they ended up
Mm.
mixing it and just going into like the baby oil, I guess.
Ha ha.
And this is just insane to be talking
No,
about, but
it's insane, and of course, people should understand too. We're laughing. We're not laughing at any allegations or implications of domestic violence, sexual assault, or whatever like that. But it's just
it's sometimes
it's
the way
crazy
your brain
world.
tries to
It's a crazy
process stuff,
world. No, it's just a
because it's new
world.
to me. Like I've never experienced. I mean, I know you've talked to people in the XV. What was it? The cult, the XV2
Oh,
and stuff, and
Nexium. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Nexium. And so you have like a little bit more experience than I do with this type of stuff. So for me, this is all new, and so it's like shocking to me. Like what is this? Like why are we in a trial
Right.
exposing all this stuff? But um you know the so the back to the second witness, and him being the escort, he basically verifies that he witnessed violence for something as simple as Cassie just being on her computer trying to set stuff up, and Diddy calls her over and she doesn't go right away, and so he snatches her up. So that was what he had
Mm.
witnessed, and that he even told her like, why are you staying? And she's like, things are gonna be okay, and all this stuff. So they set it up as, he was a pretty strong witness for the prosecution, in my opinion, in the beginning. And so then in the cross examination, the defense team comes around and says, well, you were getting paid for these things. I guess maybe alluding to the like that not being legal. I don't know, because it was just an escort service. I don't know what that.
Something shady there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that they were talking about SEO with his like the way that he was managing his company, creating false addresses to push up his SEO, which I thought was like neither here nor there with that. But I don't know where they were going with some of
yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe to present him as not being credible because he's capable of doing kind of, I don't know if that's fraudulent activity. I mean, people do all kinds of crazy stuff for SEO,
Mm.
but creating
I know
fake
there's like
addresses,
great.
fake businesses.
Well, I think too, it's interesting you mentioned this because I think that one of the things that's coming out in this Blake Lively saga is that there are these emergent gray areas when we talk about technology and also when we talk about Me Too and these issues of like coercion and stuff. And so I don't know, but go ahead.
And so then we left off with the cross examination of the escort. Um, in my opinion, the escort so far has been more beneficial to the prosecution, and I haven't really seen the defense cure his testimony yet. As far as, I mean, for one, he witnessed the violence. For two, he's speaking on how like Diddy was directing everything. The only thing I do felt like it was a win for the defense is that all the money exchange, all the text messages, everything was coming from Cassie.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
is going to be hard to cure for the prosecution as far
That's
as.
Thank you so much for bringing that up because that is I was thinking the same thing earlier. That is a significant weakness and we shouldn't even have to explain why. I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, so it was pretty compelling, and I know that we're talking about our stances and things like that, and a lot of the time where people think, oh, you're being apologetic to Diddy. For myself, it's like, okay, he seems really really guilty, and so I'm
Mhm.
coming into it as like, well, let's see, like it's like a lawyer show for me. Like I'm
Mhm.
watching both sides try to either prove his innocence or his guilt, and that's what's compelling to me.
I'm going to try to put out a video every day, if nothing else, just recapping that day's events. This one was a longer video, but in general, I'll be shooting for something around 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? So maybe a little more if there's a bombshell day or a lot on that day. Like all of that. And I know that CJ is going to be providing a lot of, I think, pretty constant coverage as well. She's much more prolific on Twitter than I am, posts a lot more, generally speaking, and lots of great detailed posts, but also great summaries that are very, very clear. So check her out. And it's, tell me again for the 50th time, C Journalist 20.
Yeah, 24.
C Journalist 24. Let me just put your page up here while we're, what comes across too, or what I hope comes across too with both of us, is that we bring to a case like this our own perspectives and our own kind of ideological inclinations and just our own sensitivities about certain things. But at the same time, we really just want to get as close as possible to the truth, the essence of what really happened, and figure out, and also what does it mean and what is the proper response for that. And so that's what we're going to give our audience going forward. And like I said, love to have you on as much as you'd like. All right, everybody, our links are below, so I appreciate your support as always. And every little bit helps with the PayPal tips, and you don't have to be a member to tip. And CJ as well, I know, takes donations too. And so you can find all of her information on her Twitter. I've got it up here, and check her out. And she, like I said, will be tweeting regularly on this. And of course, Baldoni and Lively, it never ends. So anyway, thank you so much, CJ.
Thank you.
All right, bye.